All right, going to be doing another comic review, and this is another book sent to me by my friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again, brother. And this is Lady Machanika, The Lost Boys of West Abbey. This is the third volume in the Lady Machanika series Chris has been sending me. I did a review of Volume 2 a couple months ago, and Chris also sent me Volume 4, and way back I did a review of Volume 1. I've been really liking the Lady Machanika series. If you don't know what Lady Machanika is, the best way to describe it is, and I've used this description before if you've been on the channel before, the best way I can describe Lady Machanika is that it's essentially imagine Ghost in the Shell, but steampunk. That is the best way I can describe it, is Ghost in the Shell, but with steampunk. And it follows this character, Lady Machanika, who has a mysterious origin to her creation as a kind of like steam-powered woman, and she goes on all like these Indiana Jones-esque adventures. That's really what the comic is about at the end of the day, is that it's these fun like adventure stories with this character. The first volume was like a cool Indiana Jones one. The second volume is also like that, but it goes in halfway through it goes in a completely different direction than what you were expecting. I don't want to spoil it, but like I feel like I have to because it goes in such a bizarre train of thought that is just made me go, what? I absolutely love this. But Volume 3, I don't know if we can call this Volume 3, because it's literally a two-part story. Like, yeah, it's literally... Look at that. It literally could be just a one-shot graphic novel. Hell, if this was an animated series, this entire book would just be seen as a special. And that would be it. But yeah, that's really kind of it. So yeah, this is, like I said, a two-part story that is actually got a lot going in it. And I feel like it should have been at least one more, maybe a four-part story. I feel like that right there is like, I feel like it should have been a four-part comic to begin with. Now, the other thing is that the artwork is just fantastic. I think the writing is really good, but like you have like just amazingly detailed artwork in every page. Like every page is just a work of art in every shape and form. Like all of that. So that's what I always what I like about this, is that it's kind of like Spawn, where it's pictures over story, but the story is actually really fucking good. So let's actually talk about like what this comic is about. So in this one involves a series of kidnappings in West Abbey, where a bunch of homeless boys are being captured by a mysterious force, and Lady Machanika and her sidekick Lewis go out in order to search for these lost kids, and it turns into a story of Lady Machanika also looking into some of her origin as well. The comic really... There's some really fucked up shit, because it involves like this cult using children's souls and putting them in machine bodies just so this wealthy aristocrat can like, they're all prototypes. Hell, there's one scene that's really just chilling of this poor boy getting cut up with all of these like Jewish symbols to make a golem. His soul gets taken, put in a robot body, and he's like, I don't know where I am. My name's Tommy. I just want to go home. And the person building these metal golems is like, yeah, well, I'll tell you, tell me where you're from and I'll send you home. And he tells him, he's like, all right, now you can go home. And he pulls out he puts a piece of paper in his mouth to make him drop dead. It's really haunting that these boys don't get saved. They get murdered. And it's really fucking that's really fucking terrifying. The mystery, however, kind of gets explained to you. You don't really... you already know, like, the story ahead of time. So that's a little bothersome, that it's like the characters are one step behind you. I feel like with a mystery, you should figure out alongside the characters. But yeah. I also feel like there's just a little bit of anti-Semitism here, and I don't know how to feel about that, because they're obviously using golem making, but there's also some points where, like, I And I don't think I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it just feels like, oh, we're using, the power of the Jews and whatever, and I'm like, I don't know, like, in context, that was not the best wording. I don't think that was intentional, but I still went, ooh. And also there's some other things, because we're dealing with golem making, so it is like, we're dealing with Jewish mythology, so there are some moments where I just went, ooh, I feel like that could have been worded better. But yeah, all in all, it's a solid book. I think there's the artwork is always fantastic. I feel like the mystery though is a bit of a mess, but it's just to see a steampunk giant man at the end of the story. And like I said, the stuff with the kid, what happens to the children, is chilling. So yeah, not my favorite of the books, but I still like this series on a whole. And I like I said, I have Volume 4, and I'll get to it at some point. Anyway, I'd like to thank Chris once again for this comic, as always. And yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below if you've read this book. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.